What's up, bro? Today we're going to be installing the karcepts rear sway bar on my Civic Type R FL5. Ooh, that rear sway bar. Yeah. So first on the list, we're going to measure our ride height because it will play a factor later when we're setting our adjustable end link height. And there's some instructions that karcept includes. Depending on where your ride height is at, is what you adjust the end link to. I got this fancy tool to help me find center on wheels off of a guy on Instagram. He 3D printed it. So it slips on like that. Tape measure goes in the center. And then I measure up to the top center of the fender. And we're at 13.5 inches. So we need to jot that down for later. So this side is at 13.75 inches. And I'm still on stock suspension. There's no way to adjust that. We need to take off the lower diffuser here. That way we can drop the exhaust down to clear the old sway bar out. There's hella clips. There it goes. Okay, so that's out of the way. This is my wife's hot girl cup, which is now my hot girl cup. I got these picks, and that is I'm just gonna work it in between the stud of the exhaust hanger and the rubber, try and work them out. That's how I've done it before without having the tool. I really should have the tool. Get some soapy water on these. See, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. A little bit of tension on this that goes to this valve right here. So I just disconnected it from this little hole right here with the plastic clip and then unplugged it. You kind of have to just do it by feel, but that's out of the way. That should let the exhaust drop down a little bit more. So we got to remove this bolt that holds the end link into the control arm. It's a 12 mil. We also need to take off these two bolts, this one here, that hold the sway bar mount and the bushing to the chassis right here. Okay, there's half of it off. There we go. Sway bar's out. So karcepts does provide some pretty in-depth instructions. We're gonna kind of go through them. So this little thing, we'll measure one end, we'll measure the other end, and we'll get them equal. And then after that, we will take this collar all the way up and tighten it against the bushing where there's no play. Sway bar arms installation, apply the provided anti-seize. So the splines of this are going to get anti-seize, which they provided in this bag right here. Some of the gold stuff, that's going to get everywhere. Awesome. Coat every tooth of the spline liberally and any excess wipe off after. Slide the left and right sway bar arms to provide spline ends on the center section. Make sure the clock of the arms to an exact mirror image of each other. And then at the between where this thing slides on, there will leave 1/32 gap. Gonna be kind of hard to measure that, but we'll go for it. By putting it here, you would think, oh, I'm not gonna have any play at all, but the play is actually here. So that is your, because sway bars do need a little bit of side-to-side play when you're out railing them. Hit up the local Napa. Luckily, they had some white lithium grease. The guy had to look for a little bit, but he was able to hook us up. Got a new grease gun for it as well. And I will say, this grease gun seems a little more quality than some of my other grease guns. There we go. Oh, that came out really quick. I really don't know how to get this off. It's fucking, my God. I can't get it off. All right, so we've learned the technique. Okay, and you roll it out. I swear I have other grease guns that I've used that, yeah. I'm gonna rotate it around. I'm gonna grease it again. See how easy that is? You see how easy that is? I knew it the whole time. Okay, looks about 28 millimeters and 28 millimeters. So this is looking pretty good. So it does show in the instructions where the mounts go, and it says square side up. So like this. So it will come and get installed like this. Instructions also do call for a liberal amount of anti-seize on both ends, and this is what they provided. And they said coat all the splines. Okay, we're just going to loosen these up so they're in a better position to access. Okay. So if the bar goes like this, I'm going to rotate them like this where that's down. And I guess we'll put this one up top, but they are more accessible that way. So we got our pads, right? We got this flush. And to try and get these as equal as possible, I'm going to push it against the table. And I'm just going to rotate it up until it slides on the splines. I'm pushing this into the toolbox, rotating it up a little bit, and it's on the splines. Oh, there we go. We just rotate the bar down into the table. Could just be my uneven bench, but they're just a little bit of pressure. They're both touching the that That's got to be as equal on this spline and this spline that we got to get. Okay. That's our 1/32 gap. That is what is recommended. Okay, here we go. Here we go. We can use the end of it. Oh my God. Snug this down. We'll come over here and we will set our 1/32 gap again. The bushings are greased up with white lithium grease. The splines are lubed up with some anti-seize. The bar's ready to go in.
Drop yourself. You had it.
Can you pull the jack? Can you reach it? There we go. Now can I have the jack back? I just had to get it past that. Yeah, I guess you just got to pick your heart when you do this, but this is the simpler way of doing this with the weight on the suspension. Okay, we're going to torque these to spec at 27 foot-pound. You kind of just have to do this top one by feel because I can't see shit. There we go. Now we're going to set up our end links, and Karcepts has provided a chart depending on your ride height and stuff. If you remembered earlier, the driver's side was 13.5 inches and the passenger side was 13.75 inches. Goes on like this. This threads on like this. And so between this center and this center, I want to shoot for, I'm going to split the difference since I have a 1/4 inch difference between one side to the other. And I'm going to go to 3.8 inches between here and here to split the difference.
Both ends or just one?
On both ends. Yeah. Okay, we're a little long. You also kind of want to evenly spin a little bit both ends. Yep. That's looking pretty good right there. 3.8. Lay this down on its side. And I'll rotate this one up just a little bit. That's a dope shot or what? Mm-hmm. There we go. I'm probably gonna have to. Damn, that's pretty square, honestly. You're supposed to be able to go under the car with it lowered and get in there and just take this nut off and hold this and quick change this around without having to lift it or anything. So they provided 2 extra nuts in case you drop and lose them. So these go like this on each side. A little bit of corrosion on this bolt, so we're gonna clean that off. All right, slide that in there. Okay, there we go. This is how easy and movable it is. You can just got to pull the sway bar a little bit and move it around. So this stud on the upper end link, you can see there's 2 flat spots and you have to rotate that to where it fits into the bar. This is on the Karcepts website. It would have been nice if they included this in the instructions for what hole is what, but I do have the bar that is the 95 thou wall thickness. I've seen other people talk about the Rev 6 bar, and on the third setting is like 1250 or 1350, and it's way too stiff. So I'm actually going to run this at 2.3 and start at 1119 pounds per inch. I asked ChatGPT because we weren't sure which side should be hole 2 and which side should be hole 3 because we weren't sure if it would affect it or not. Apparently, it doesn't affect either side. What is ever just easier for you to put on? Bars. I'm gonna come down a little. There we go. That's how it's supposed to look with the flats inside of the bar. Now, you're not going to be able to get a torque wrench in here, so the instructions tell you to torque these to feel. All right, that's about 29 foot-pounds. The sway bar is fully installed on the Civic Type R. I won't be able to fully test it out right now, but next weekend I do have a local autocross event where I will go and see how competitive I am compared to last time, and I'll report back how well it performs. Let's go ahead and hit the end of my street, and there's a little cul-de-sac. We'll spin some circles in there and see how it works and if there's any noises or anything. What I like to do when I'm setting up my car or suspension, I'd like to get it to the point where the rear end is loose and getting a little bit snappy. And then if I'm too snappy, I will just dial it in by lowering my rear tire pressures. I don't hear any clunking or anything. It sounds pretty good. So I hope this video helped you guys out. It's a more in-depth video than I've seen other people post on YouTube covering all the steps. And as always, stay boosted. Peace out.